there, Shipmate Squad. Welcome back for another episode. It's another week, and we're going to be talking to you about FBA prep. That's right, we're going to be talking to you about how much of a pain in the butt Amazon can be and how you can comply with their ridiculous standards. Okay, guys, so we all know Amazon. We love them. We hate them, and sometimes they put out rules and regulations that we have to follow that are a little bit difficult, but that's why we have videos like this. Today, I'm going to walk you through how you can comply with Amazon's prep guidelines to make sure that your products do not get turned away or charged extra money at FBA. So let's get started. When you're an FBA seller and you're going to be sending inventory to an Amazon distribution center, you want to make sure that you're complying with all their guidelines. So one of the biggest things about selling something on Amazon is that you need to have either a barcode or an FN SKU label on every saleable unit of your product. This means that you can have your traditional UPC barcode like you see at the grocery store on your product, or you can have something that looks like this. This is an FN SKU barcode, and this is what Amazon uses to keep track of your product when they're not using a traditional barcode. So you have either option. If you're going to be using the Amazon FN SKU barcode, you have to place it on each one of your saleable units. It has to be visible and easily able to be scanned by an Amazon associate. So if you have a box of, let's say, 30 things, you got to put this on each one of them before it goes back into its box. So this is a very important part of Amazon prep, and it's something that Amazon will do for you, but they charge, quite a bit of money to do. So it's important to either do it yourself, have a third party do it, or just pay Amazon. But you got to make sure that every one of your saleable units have this FN SKU barcode or their own UPC. The next thing I want to talk about is sold as set. So a lot of people sell items that are sold in 3-pack, 2-pack, a big master case, sold as set. So Amazon is used to handling things that come in as one unit. So if you send Amazon, 3 water bottles in a box, they're going to open that box up, take all 3 water bottles out and put them on a shelf. So a really important thing to do if you're selling a set is to include a nifty little sticker that says, sold as set, do not separate. The sticker that says, sold as set, will show an Amazon employee that this item is an entire saleable unit and should not be separated by them. Let me show you an example of what I mean. So here is a set of 2 extension cords. Not only are they packaged together, so that way it would be difficult for them to separate, there is also a sold as set sticker and that FN SKU sticker I told you about earlier. It's very important to make sure that you have this sticker to ensure order accuracy, or you might have customers contacting you telling you that they did not get their full order. Amazon recommends having saleable units packed 2 different ways. One way that they recommend you pack it is in a box. Traditional box with 6 sides, no weird shapes or anything like that, but a traditional box. And another thing that they do is poly bags. They're going to force you to poly bag your individual units if they're below a certain size, or if they're sharp, or if there's something that needs to be covered. So a lot of items, especially those under 3 inches, require poly bagging. I'm going to show you what one of our poly bags look like. So this is an example of a poly bag. You'd stick the item in here, and then you would seal it. Please note that this poly bag has a suffocation warning on it. Amazon requires suffocation warnings on all poly bags that you use. If something is fabric, it also has to go in a poly bag, as you cannot have exposed fabric in an Amazon fulfillment center. So the poly bag's a really important tool in your arsenal and something that you're going to want to have if you're doing your own FBA prep. Otherwise, your 3PL can provide it, or Amazon can do it once it gets there. But like I said, there is a fee with that with Amazon. So sometimes it's worthwhile to do it in-house. Another thing about polybagging is that a lot of times you can use shrink wrapping as an alternative to polybagging. So here at Shipmate, we have an automated shrink machine, and as I showed you earlier with this extension cord example, we have a sealed product here that's shrink wrapped. It looks a little more professional in a polybag, but the polybag will get the job done. You want to make sure that you have either polybagging or shrink wrapping available to you, as it comes in handy when you're doing FBA prep work and something that Amazon often requires. One of the things I wanted to cover here is how Amazon will accept both case packed products and mixed products. If you're going to do case pack products, it's important to know that Amazon requires you to have a consistent case count throughout the inventory that you are sending them. So if you're going to send them a case that has, 15 units in it, it got to have 15 units in every case you send them of that particular SKU. It's important to make sure that your cases are complete, there's no partials in there, and that they are uniform. Another thing to note is that Amazon limits the amount of saleable units allowed in a case at 150. So if you're sending Amazon something and there comes more than 150 per box, you're going to have to take that box apart and repack it into a smaller size so that way it fits their requirements. Another thing I wanted to mention is that Amazon does not allow for any marketing materials in your boxes or in your products. So you're going to want to leave those out because you could get in trouble for that and have a mark against your account. So when you're shipping something to Amazon, please avoid the marketing materials and save yourself a lot of grief. The next thing I want to cover quickly is safety. If you have anything with a sharp edge, an exposed edge, you're going to want to make sure that that is covered to protect the Amazon employees. It's something else that's required in prep. A lot of times when you're shipping glass or ceramics or something that could, break and become sharp, or, knives or anything that you want to protect an edge of, you're going to want to use a lot of bubble wrap. Now, bubble wrap is something that Amazon also requires for specific items, so you're going to want to look up what some of those are, but it's never a bad idea to include bubble wrap whenever it feels like it might be appropriate to do so to protect the employees and maintain a safe work environment. So guys, another thing that I really want to put out there is expiration dates. Expiration dates are huge on Amazon, and it's something that they're really strict about. So you want to make sure that on your master cases that the expiration date is visible and easy to find, and it's in 30-point or bigger font. That's something I can't stress enough. It needs to be very visible and very pronounced. It also needs to be on each individual saleable unit, so that way Amazon and the customer know that your product is within the expiration date and it's safe to use or consume or whatever. Amazon really only has two types of date formats that they accept. They have month, date, year, and just month and year. And you want to make sure that you are following those formats and that whatever prep work you do on top of this, that expiration date is visible. So if you have an expiration date on a jar and you stick that jar in a box and that box doesn't show the expiration date, Amazon's going to flag your product. So you want to make sure that the expiration date is visible at all times. So guys, I just wanted to point out there that although I covered the basics of Amazon prep, I didn't cover everything. I mean, there's endless categories and endless types of prep that Amazon requires. And, there's specialty items like plush toys. There's things like sharp objects. There's things like high-value jewelry. There's things like powders, creams, liquids, batteries, all different sorts of things that require all different types of prep, different types of labeling. And you can find those on Amazon's website, how you prep for those. As an Amazon prep provider, we here at Shipmate understand a lot of those things, but it's never a bad idea to look them up and just make sure that your item isn't something that requires some sort of special prep or some sort of, different requirement that you might be unaware of. So it's important to make sure that you're following all of Amazon's guidelines for sending products to their fulfillment center. I wanted to just take a couple seconds and tell you about case labels and pallet labels. So, once you have all this prep done on your individual units and you have your cases ready to go, you're going to have to label each one of those cases with what Amazon calls a case label. So I have an example here to show you. This is an Amazon case label. This label shows what the quantity of the pack is, the expiration date, all kinds of information that Amazon wants to know about. And it's important to make sure that this is on each and every case you send them and that it is visible. If you're sending that inventory parcel, Amazon's also going to generate a shipping label for you, and you can send it with UPS or your preferred carrier. But if you're going to be sending a palletized load, there are also pallet labels that Amazon requires. So I'm going to show you what those pallet labels look like. Here's an example of some pallet labels. So you're going to want to make sure that each one of these labels is on a different side of the pallet, so that way they're visible to an Amazon employee no matter where they set the pallet. So if a side is up against another pallet or something, they can still get at this and still scan it. So you want to just make sure you have all 4 sides of the pallet covered with this. And if you do that, the items are going to get to Amazon all right. You're going to be good. Your account's going to stay in good standing, and everybody's going to be hunky-dory. You're going to be making tons of money. So I hope you guys all learned something today. I hope this video was pretty informative. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down in the comments section. I'd be more than happy to get at them. If you could just take a second, just one itsy bitsy second of your day and hit that like button, it really means a lot to the channel. We'd also love it if you'd subscribe. We love hanging out with you guys every week, and we'll be coming at you every week with more content. We're really excited to get into the summer and all the exciting new things we're going to cover on this channel, so you don't want to miss that. Thank you guys so much again, and we'll see you next week.